Hello, it's Doris with Aldi Books, and I'm here for Friday Reads. I am not even going to tell you how busy I am because you already know. This is going to be fast, so let's just jump right in. So, mid-month book bash was last extended weekend, Friday through Monday. It is the second weekend of every month this year, which I think will work really well. And it was highly successful for me. Highly successful. I got caught up on all my reading, and then I haven't read again all week. A few pages here and there, but anyway. I guess I'm a weekend reader these days because work is crazy, but I said I wasn't going to talk about it. Anyway, I finished Red Sister by Mark Lawrence. This is a fantasy series set around an abbey with nuns who are trained assassins. This one is introduced with a little girl who is picked up by a traveling, I wouldn't say salesman. He collects children who he thinks have special abilities. He buys them from their parents and then sells them to gaming halls in the big city. Yes. So our main character, Nona, is bought in this way and travels to the big city, and we follow her as, you know, she's going to be hung for almost killing an important person in the big city. But she's saved by the abbess and brought to their magic school where she learns how to fight and, you know, lots of fighting. So I thought I would like that because I love me some Black Widow. But this book, like a good 60% chunk in the middle, just felt like one fight scene after another, and I kind of glazed over. And I had to speed this up to 2 times speed to finish it. The end was interesting and the beginning was really interesting, but 60% uninteresting is not a good percentage. So I'm gonna have to give this a 3 stars. And spoiler alert, Heidi, I don't wanna finish the series. So let me know what you think about that. I buddy read this with Heidi from My Reading Life. She has agreed to join me on my fantasy bender this year. I also finished Yours Truly, the Duke by Amelia Gray. This is a Regency romance, a marriage of convenience. She needs to get married because she is taking care of her sister's children. Her sister passed away and her sister's husband, and he needs to get married to fulfill a codicil in his grandmother's will that required him to marry within 7 days. So really nice people. The kids in this book are cute and fun. The problems in the relationship seemed valid and they talked through them. This book just didn't have that little spark. Like, it just wasn't, like, everything felt like it should be interesting, but it wasn't. So a lot of things I liked about this book, but again, I'm gonna have to go with 3 stars on this one. And again, I read this with Heidi and also Katie, and we all felt the same. Solid foundation, but kind of meh. And I have to say, Heidi, Katie, if you're watching, another thing I forgot to mention, her love of poetry and his hate of poetry, like they left that thread hanging. They never resolved that I recall. Anyway, I also finished 3 books. I met that goal. I finished Jane Goodall's Through a Window. So this is the sequel to her original one, In the Shadow of Man, that she wrote when she was younger. So I don't think I need to describe Jane Goodall. She won the Nobel Prize for her behavioral observations of chimpanzees. And, you know, her research was kind of groundbreaking in the behavioral sciences. And her first book, Shadow of Man, was kind of her observations, just learning the art. You know, she wasn't formally trained. She just had a great love of nature and adventure and went with it. And then through that, eventually got her PhD pretty quickly. But this is her looking back on those times and even more of those times and the development of the community and the things that she learned through the years, both about chimpanzees, their behavior, but also that science field and science in general, and just human interaction as well, and then reflections on modern times and how we need to preserve our environment and our humanity by how we treat animals. So really good book, 4 stars for this one. And those are the only ones I've finished. I did keep up with my buddy read of Fanny Herself by Edna Ferber. Joe Smith and I are reading this one together, and we have hit the halfway mark. And I'm gonna say this book is charming, really charming. It feels kind of like Anna Green Gables vibes initially, but it's like the whole series compressed into one novel because she ages much more rapidly. And this one's written for an adult audience. The author, she fluctuates between, you know, telling the story and then also breaking the fourth wall and talking to you, the reader, which is very, very interesting the way she does it. I think this book is also somewhat autofiction of the author's own life. So she is a young Jewish girl growing up in, the Midwest. I think it was Wisconsin, or I'm sorry, but she moves to Chicago as a young adult. And it's kind of the Sears and Roebuck's catalog fame and how that developed, but a fictionalized account. And then her internal questing between wanting to be a businesswoman like her mother, but on a much larger scale. Her mom ran a small town mercantile, and she is working for this big company. And also her love of art and, you know, wanting to pursue her own internal interests. There's also family drama with the brother who is a virtuoso violinist, and maybe not such a virtuoso big brother eventually. I'm having issues with him at the moment. But yeah, this is really, really good storytelling. And one of those, I mentioned this in a previous vlog, I think, but this is very much a Kate Howe, I forget what she's calling them, making life softer kind of books. I don't know. But it's a cozy read, but it's like really deep ideas that she's going with. And not everything is smooth sailing, but it's also, I mean, halfway through at least, not harsh. Like, harsh things happen, but it's much more gentle than some modern day stories. This is turn of the century, so I think it was written in 1917, so it's a little bit before that. Modern classic. I'm going to be reading more from this author for sure. And then I also started The Comfort of Crows by Margaret Rinkle. This is for the January Book Naturalist Book Club, and I'm listening to this on audiobook. The narrator reads it herself. It is gorgeous, so gorgeous. These are little vignettes on her observations, mostly just in her backyard in Tennessee, suburban Tennessee, and interwoven with her ideas on the environment and just being a human being. Did I say it was gorgeous? It is completely gorgeous. I will be buying myself a physical copy of this and reading it again, and I am gonna probably buy it for the young man who is living in my home in Tennessee and also my next door neighbor. It is that good. Highly recommend this book. If you listen to it on audiobook, I would recommend listening to it on 1.5 times speed. It still sounds really natural. Trust me on this. The Southern accent can be very slow. Anyway, great book. So, do I have anything else to talk about? Did not touch this during mid-month book bash, but I think I am, I don't think I know. I'm taking it with me this weekend. I have a work weekend, professional development, and I'm gonna enjoy that in the hotel room. I also have downloaded 2 new books because I only had 3 on the go and I realized I had no audiobooks. I finished all my audiobooks and sometimes those are needed. So I am finally going to get on the Tom Lake Train by Ann Patchett. I just have heard this over and over and over and over and over again on BookTube. And the most recent was Kendra Winchester. And I needed an audiobook and I was listening to Kendra and I was like, let's just go download it. And I do have those Audible credits that I need to use up. So perfect timing. And I also downloaded another ebook because this one, I put it on a wait list for Shorty September and it did not come available in Shorty September. And so when it finally came available, I was busy. So I kept deferring it to the next 7 or 14 days. And so basically I've had it on hold for September, October, November, December, like almost 5 months now. Is that right? It wasn't available. It's been available for like 4 months. So I thought it came available and I thought, let's just do the thing. So I downloaded Tinkers by Paul Harding. This one, I think, is the one he won the Pulitzer for. And the other one, which I don't recall the name of right now, is the recent one. But anyway, I heard Greg talk about this and it sounded super interesting. And I'm excited to dive in. So that is my Friday check-in. I got to get back to work. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll be back soon. Bye.